Went to the flea market today. Also went to a local show. What did I pick up? Got some good books for cheap. Let's take a look at what I'm picking up here on this video from Bronzeville Comics. Panelologists, this is Jim with Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. And before we get started, like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff really helps the channel. We'll be coming out with our 4,000 subscriber giveaway real soon. Also, follow us on other socials, Bronzeville_comics on Instagram, Bronzeville_comics on Whatnot. If you've not yet been on Whatnot, you can get $10 off your first purchase. Doesn't have to be with me. I'm recording this late at night. Forgive me. Also, there's a link in the description of this video. You get that's the link you use to get the $10 off. There's also a link to my email and my eBay store. So, I went to the Meadowlands Flea Market this morning, and it was odd. It was a beautiful day. And actually, they're closed, I believe, for the next 3 weeks. I think the rest of the month. I don't know if there are concerts going on at the venue or not, but the flea market is closed. So I was a little bit surprised by the small number of comic book vendors out there. I walked around, got a few things, and picked up some good stuff. So I picked this up. This is Flash Gordon 34 from Whitman. Just kind of like that Whitman era book. These were all kind of in the $2 range. Deadpool #2, newsstand. Pretty nice book. There's one vendor who he had a few $5 books that I got. And so I picked up from him. This is a mid-grader, Demon #10. That'll probably go in the PC. This, I actually have a copy of. I have to see if it's a sharp copy other than there is a crease that kind of runs diagonally here. If that presses out, this is a high-grade book. This is the first kind of prototype appearance of Justice League Dark, where we have all these supernatural characters working together. Spectre, Swamp Thing, Demon, Deadman, Phantom Stranger. You see all of them on the cover. I'm not sure if Zatanna's in there or not. And then this was a total cover buy. I'll probably keep this in the PC as well. This is Phantom Stranger 26 with the Spawn of Frankenstein. That's a William Michael Kaluta cover. Yeah, that's a great cover. I mean, even the trade dress with the Frankenstein added to is kind of cool, and I love those 20 centers. That is the beginning of my comic book collecting. Then the rest of these were pretty much $2, maybe $3 books. The entire Magic miniseries, I can bundle that together. That's a good miniseries to have. This is a Michael Turner cover of Fathom, and you could probably extrapolate as to why that is a desirable book. This Daredevil Born Again. I don't think it's the first chapter of the series, but it's the one that has the Born Again on the cover. That is at least the working title of the Daredevil series that's coming to Disney Plus. Then we also have this Conan the Barbarian Arthur Adams cover. I was kind of looking closely because some of these late Conans, there's a McFarlane cover that's quite desirable, but that's a pretty cool Adams cover. I picked this up, Teen Titans Go. I kind of missed this series when it came out, and these do have some value. I'm going to save that one. Any triple-digit G.I. Joes are usually, if you can get them for $1 or $2. It's Lois Lane. It does have some water damage on the bottom here. This also has some water damage, but this will fit into my 72 collection, at least as a placeholder. Swing with Scooter #36. That's from 1972. This is a key I've picked up a couple of times recently. This will go in a spec box. DC Comics Presents 52, Newsstand. This is the first appearance of Ambush Bug. And it's one of those goofball characters that I think a lot of people could see James Gunn using. A character that has been used, another spec. This is the first appearance of Ryan Choi as the third Atom. We did see Ryan Choi, if you watched it, he was in the Zack Snyder cut. Wasn't in the original Justice League movie, but he was in the Snyder cut. And I guess there were probably plans to use him. I also picked up, what else did I pick up? I want to say these. I think, was that it from the, I just want to go through, okay, yeah. Okay, I just want to go through the rest of the flea market. These were all like $2 books. I think I have this, but I've been picking up, it could be an upgrade. If it's an upgrade, I mean, for $2, a Tarzan 100-pager. Tales of Evil from Atlas Comics, #1. Been picking up those Atlas books. These, there were 3 of them. I'll put these together. Early appearances. These are issues 12, 14, and 18. Some early Jonah Hex appearances. This one, the 12 is kind of low grade. I think I do need this. This is a 1972 book, and so is 14, I guess. Yeah, those two are probably at least going to be... I don't think I have them in my 72 collection just yet. This also is a 1972 book. I have to see if I have this. Lois Lane 135. I was just grabbing stuff. And as I've said, if you watch the channel, I collect the DC Comics from July 1976. They have that bicentennial banner at the top. Sort of like, to me, it's kind of akin to those that collect that Marvel 25th Anniversary picture frame borders. It's just kind of a fun, easy thing to kind of collect in the wild. You know, you're not spending a lot of money on it. I don't think there are any huge keys that month. But this is the next month, and I thought this was kind of a cool companion to it. It's our Army at War 295. See, bicentennial theme with Sergeant Rock there. A really nice Joe Kubert cover. There was one table I walked past, and they had just a small... I looked, and I saw some comics on a table. Like there were Richie Riches on top. I said, let me take a look. They're $3 a book. I think, was that what they charged? Or is it $2 and 3 for $5? Anyway, I got these $2-3. Some Marvel Horror, Dead of Night 2, and Crypt of Shadows 10. And then from DC, Adventure Comics 432. It's a little beat up. Jim Aparo. This is the second of the Spectre in this run. That kind of that was a classic 70s series. If you haven't read that, that's been reprinted, so it's not that difficult to pick up. What else did I get? Yeah, I'm just trying to see. There were a couple, yeah. And then, you know, just for a couple bucks, New Mutants 100, Newsstand Daredevil 231. I've been working low-key, very low-key, on the Super Team Family run. And why not? For like $2. Superman 75. And then I picked up some Rebirth #1s. Justice League and Superman. I'm not sure these have any great value, but the Batman #1 is a pretty cool book to have. That has more value than the others. And then I was going through, and one of the vendors, $2 books, and I've gotten some really nice books from him in the past, but I know I wasn't the first one there because there were keys missing. I know I got the Weird Western Tales from him, and I was kind of like, was there ever a first Jonah Hex in that batch? One thing that I'm pretty sure he had all of originally, because they had the entire run, including some variant covers, except for one issue, and that was Infinite Crisis. They didn't have either the number 5s, which is the first appearance of Blue Beetle, but number 3, and there's a Swamp Thing randomly in here. Number 3, 2 different, the Jim Lee cover, this is the Lee cover, and the Perez cover. These are both the first appearance of Jaime Reyes. He finds the Blue Beetle scarab in this issue, and then becomes the costume Blue Beetle in the next. And then I just picked up this. I don't think I have this in the PC. This was an Alex Ross Justice book. And then there's this, issue number 6. I think that's the cover A. I think I have that. So that was the haul. Oh, one more book from the flea market. $2. And I picked this up. This is a nice, it's a fairly minty copy. It does need a press. I think I'm going to submit it. It is Earth 2 number 19. This is the first appearance of Val Zod. I saw some news this past week that there's still the possibility that that project with Michael B. Jordan playing Val Zod could continue as an Elseworlds story for DC. So, I mean, if that's the case, then this book becomes a big book. It's already, like in a 9.8, this is about a $250 book. And it's one of those modern books that if you think it's in a 9.8, and especially with CGC changing their rules on pre-screens where you don't need to have 25 books, you could submit one book in a pre-screen, I guess, that it kind of makes sense to go for those pre-screens on some moderns, because if you think it's a 9.8, roll the dice. I got the book for $2. So even if it gets rejected, it's put me out $11 plus shipping, but it'll be with other books, so the shipping is kind of minimized. $9 for a pre-screen. I think a raw is probably like maybe a $25, $30 book in high grade. But the difference is, like a 9.8 of that is over $200. So it's kind of, for my mind, it's worth the gamble. Putting it in a pre-screen. Could even be a 9.6 pre-screen. 9.6 is probably about $100, give or take. That if it comes back as a 9.8, you have a much more valuable book. I do have that in the PC. I did collect that title when it came out. I haven't yet gotten to read it. So I only spent about an hour at the flea market because I had to come back home because I was taking my kids to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Loved it. I had seen it already with a buddy of mine Thursday night. And I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it just as much the second time around. I thought that it had very much kind of the vibe of Endgame, like they were putting a cap on the story arcs for these characters. There was a big emotional investment there. And every character got their due. The performances were great. I'll tell you, the performance by Chukwudi Iwuji was phenomenal. He was amazing as the High Evolutionary, and really brought a sense of menace, a sense of complete insanity, a complete megalomania to the character that really made him formidable. And there were other wonderful little flourishes in the character that I really enjoyed. He was great. So if you haven't yet seen it, I recommend it. I had posted, I think the audience score is very high on that. Gave it 3.5 stars. So anyway, afterwards, there was a local advertised comic show in a mall. It was like on the 3rd floor of a local mall, which was maybe about 15 minutes from the movie theater. So kind of like, triangular, 15 minutes from the movie theater, 15, 20 minutes, and 15, 20 minutes from home. So we made the trip over there. There wasn't a lot. There were a few comic book vendors. There was one guy with a couple boxes of nothing of interest for me. And then there was somebody with a lot of long boxes. So the first vendor I came to, he had $3 books. I just picked up a few. Now, I got there late in the game. I think they were open from 11, and we got there probably about 3. Did we get there that late? Yeah, I think about 3. Didn't stay for long, but $3 books. Captain America 275, newsstand. This is the first appearance of Helmut Zemo. Great Mike Zeck cover. It's funny. They had done this show last year, but the mall they had it in last year has closed. So they had it in a different location. I think it was the same group that put it on, and I picked this book up in a $2 bin last year. This is New Avengers number 40. This is the first appearance of Vrunke, the Skrull Queen. I don't know if that's going to play out in Secret Invasion or not, but I got that for $3. And I got one more book for $3, and I don't remember what it was. I'll let you know if I go through the rest of these books. So then there was a vendor there that had a lot of boxes. Some price books. He did have a wall. He was really the only serious comic vendor there. And he had bins that had books, $3 a book, and then there were discounts based on volume up to, if you bought 20 books, it was $20, $1 a book. So I figured, let me just throw 20 books in there, and we'll see what we get. So there were, let me see. I picked up, they had a few of these DC Tarzans. These I've been picking up as part of collections, kind of put them away, because it's a short run, right? You're in the 200s, but before that was Dell, and then DC had the contract for maybe about 4 or 5 years, and then Marvel started with the number 1 in the later 70s. I have some of them in my 72 collection. I picked up some, as you saw earlier. There were numbers of 100-pagers, Joe Kubert covers. I figure I'll pick those up on the cheap. I picked this Charlton Phantom book up because I know I've sold with somebody before when I've gone to street sides. They like their Phantom stuff. This was at the Meadowlands. I think this was the other $3 book. That's what it was. You can see that they probably had the full run, but 8 and 9 were gone. But still, a Michael Turner cover. Yeah, that's a nice cover. That was the other $3 book. So I got 20 books. At the end, I was kind of strange. I just got some later X-Men. I saw that Lone Wolf was right there. Him and Yasu were there. And he picked up a first Forge in the bins. He was really digging some X-Men. No huge books in here. This is a nice Jim Lee cover. An X Factor, because I was just grabbing books at the end and my kids were getting impatient. Mr. Sinister cover. Justice League Europe number 1. Figured it's worth this Daredevil Man Without Fear number 4. Frank Miller, John Romita Jr. This Mud Pack 4-parter. This is, I forget the name of the character. Is revealed to be Lady Mudpack or something. Then they had a bunch of New Avengers. And there were some keys in there. I just went on Key Collector. This one's not listed on Key Collector, but this Venomized Wolverine cover. That's a cool book. And then there's a couple of these. I think I'm trying to remember. Is this the first appearance of the Dark Avengers appear in this? And then 54 and 55 are basically Brother Voodoo's origin is retold and he becomes the Sorcerer Supreme in these 2 books. Now, Brother Voodoo's spec leading up to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness ran a little rampant. But unfortunately, there wasn't anything to substantiate it. And, I don't know if we are going to see Brother Voodoo anytime soon. It gets to the point where some of these characters, and I'll talk about another one in a moment, it's hit or miss. There are certain characters, Silver Surfer, Galactus, that we know we're going to get. We knew we were going to get Submariner sooner or later. But some of these secondary characters, Brother Voodoo, who knows? Darkhawk, who knows? Maybe. So I then I picked up a couple other books. This had been picked through. There were a bunch of people going through, but I don't think there were the Key Collector diggers. This is Superman Rebirth number 10. It's the first meeting of the Super Sons, Damian Wayne and Jonathan Kent. And that is a key. Then these last 2 books, and I had done a video on this series previously. The And we talk about characters that we keep thinking about. I'm not sure we're ever going to see. This is Marvel Previews number 61. This is a solicitation for Adam, Legend of the Blue Marvel. Will we see him? I don't know. And I'm not sure. It's really hard to get pricing data on these books. If you look at Key Collector, I think it's like, there's another one I have here. They're listed in high grade as $90 or $100 books. But I don't see sales. I see very few sales in cover price. I went to Go Collect to look at slabbed prices. None, even though there's slabbed sales listed in cover price. And then this last one that was issue 61. This, I'm just going to take the tape off, is issue 64. Which, the key significance here is, this is the first appearance of Shuri. This is really a solicitation for Shuri's first appearance. And it predates, what was it, Black Panther number 2? Is that what she appeared in? So, I mean, cover price lists this as a high of $90. I don't know exactly what it's worth. I don't know if anybody's jumping over themselves to pay $30 right now. And I think this may have been a book. Both the Marvel Previews. Listen, I got them for $1. So, and they're both in pretty high grade. These are both books that I think were helped tremendously during the comic boom. Because people were trying to get their hands on anything. If you remember, there's the biggest Marvel Previews key is issue number 95. Which came out before Ultimate Fallout 4, and it has a cover appearance of Miles Morales. That was going for like in the neighborhood of $1,000 at its height. But I'm not sure that holds up much on eBay. So let's see. I'm trying to look at the Shuri cover. I see listings. For over $100. A couple in the $75 range. And if we look at sold items, did it click on sold? Yeah. $29 with Black Panther number 2, $50. So I don't think it has held the value of close to $100 that Key Collector lists at. Key Collector is one of the last places I would go to look for prices of comic books, what to pay for them or what to sell them for, because they don't really update their prices too often. And again, these were books. It's hard to find sales data on them in recent years. Like if you pull up Marvel Previews on cover price, only a few issues come up. So I don't think most people buy the back issues of the, let's call them run fillers, kind of looking for those first appearances of key characters that predate their appearance in comic books. I'm not sure that the current market is really thirsty for those. But if you're a completist of a certain character, I think it does make sense to pick it up. I understand it. Sort of like those books that have the ad for Hulk 181, and those Golden Age books that have the ad for Action Comics number 1. They're interesting pieces of history. If you're a big Shuri fan or you're a big Blue Marvel fan, yeah, these are books to get. But I don't think they're books that have held the value from a couple of years ago. And I don't know what they're worth, to be honest with you. If you have any more information on those Marvel Previews books, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about this haul. I'd like to thank you for stopping by. In the meantime, you can take a look at a couple of my other videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.